Before this video begins, if I may, I would like to encourage y'all to check out my unscripted discussion series. It's one of the big reasons I started this channel, to discuss with the community and hear people's opinions on different topics. So if you would give it a chance, there is a playlist of it on my channel. There you can see multiple videos of it, and just click on one that you may have an opinion on. There's a lot of different topics on it. Some videos have more than one topic. So yeah, if you would give it a chance, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions in the comments of those videos. With all that being said, back to the video. Before we get into the meat of this arc, again, I will go through a quick speed review of the kind of side arcs, I guess you could say. So if you want to go to pure Alabasta arc, skip to this timestamp. Otherwise, here's the review of the kind of side arcs of the big Alabasta arc. First was Whiskey Peak. Pretty cool arc, nothing really much to say about it to be honest, besides two things. One I liked and one I really disliked. The one I liked was seeing Zoro absolutely decimate everyone, but the moment I absolutely hated, and probably the moment in the manga that I hated the most, slash show, because I did watch a little bit of the show before I read the manga, was Luffy attacking Zoro. For me personally, that was just so out of character for Luffy. Luffy is stupid, but he's not that stupid, especially with Zoro, who's like Luffy's best friend right now and most loyal crewmate. With Luffy's character, do you really think Luffy would try to kill Zoro for this? Really, I just don't like it at all, especially with how far Luffy is willing to go for his friends. It just didn't make sense at all for Luffy to do this, and it actually made me so mad, I'm not gonna lie, because the one thing I really like the most was the characters' camaraderie and friendship. And I don't know, it was just so out of character for me, and I really did not like this scene at all, and I definitely hate this scene the most out of any scene in One Piece that I've seen so far. Oh shoot, and I can't forget one more thing that I actually liked about this arc, was this is where we meet Vivi, who is top 2 characters in this arc in my opinion, but I'll talk about her later when we get into the actual meat of the Alabasta arc. But all you need to know right now is that she is a great character. Overall, nice arc. I would give it a 5 out of 10 to be honest. Average, not really much to say about it besides that one scene that I personally hated. Next we have the Little Garden arc. This arc was very meh for me, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't really like it. The villain to me was annoying, like really annoying, and not annoying in a sense of a villain where it's like, oh, I hate him, but you know, he's a villain, so I meant to hate him. No. He was just annoying. Like, he was just so uninteresting to me, like more than Usopp annoying, and I really didn't care to read it at all, if I were to be honest. It might be my least favorite arc so far because it was one of the few arcs I actually had to force myself to read through. But I do like seeing more of the character personalities and dedication, like Zoro being willing to cut off his legs, and all those little things for me is what makes One Piece so great. Just seeing these characters being so extreme and stuff, and showing their true personality through. Anyways though, besides stuff like that, I didn't really enjoy this arc, so 3 out of 10. Next up, Drum Island. This is where we meet Chopper, and I like this arc. It's another arc I honestly don't have much to say about other than we meet Chopper, and it was a nice sweet arc. It was a nice sweet backstory for Chopper. Nothing truly memorable off the top of my head, except for the scene where Luffy freaking climbed up that building. That was so fire, and again, that just shows to me that Luffy is truly like a ride or die friend, and it just doesn't make sense of that scene. You know what, screw it, just because that scene, that the Whiskey Peak arc actually gets a 4 out of 10. I hate that scene so much, I don't care. I do not like that scene. The Whiskey arc, just because that scene gets bumped down to a 4 out of 10. Anyways though, Chopper for me is a welcome addition to the crew. However, for me, there's really nothing noteworthy of him so far. He's a welcome addition to the crew, as I said, but he's kind of just average for me at the moment. I don't hate him, and I like him there, but he doesn't stick out to me, you know what I mean? Anyways, 6 out of 10. Now it's time for the main part, Alabasta. Real quick before I talk about the Alabasta arc, I do remember Ace, okay? Don't worry, I do remember Ace. He seems pretty cool. Fire is always a cool ability. And I love getting a little teaser of Whitebeard and Blackbeard, so I can't wait to see where that goes. Anyways, now to the Alabasta arc. This arc was honestly amazing. It's so great to just see everyone interact. Just seeing the whole crew together being pretty much a family is just so beautiful to see. Especially through little moments like how we get the question asked by Smoker why they are helping him, and Zoro just responds with, "It's because it was the captain's orders." They're all just so ride or die, even though their personalities are so different, but that's part of the charm of it all. This arc, we got to see everyone interact, and it was just so amazing to see. Also, just to see the loyalty of everyone. The X drawing on their arms. Look, y'all, I love little things like this, okay? It really tugs at my heartstrings, and it's this stuff for me that makes a story so memorable. The little things, the little showings like this are things I crave in especially long stories such as this. I love the world building in One Piece. It's so amazing getting to see all of these places. The arc was kind of showing how complex One Piece can be, and I most certainly don't doubt that it will get more complex later on. The layers that this story provides is just amazing. Like, just the will of people. This arc reinforces powerful themes of justice and freedom. By defeating Crocodile and dismantling Baroque works, the Straw Hats really uphold like values of righteousness and liberation. For me, especially with the ending, what this arc really shows is just a testament of just resilience and just never giving up on fighting for things to be right. And it shows it through just the story itself, and through that ending, it really is such a great story. The main characters to me that shined throughout this whole arc was Luffy and Vivi. Luffy because we got to see his like never-ending determination to help his friends and his willingness to do anything to help them. And Vivi, oh, where do I even start? She might be my favorite character in this arc. She's out there fighting tooth and nail for her kingdom and her people. Even though she's faced with some crazy tough situations, she never backs down. Vivi's all about standing up for what's right, even if it means putting herself in harm's way. And let's not forget how she bonds with the Straw Hat crew. She's a true friend who's willing to risk it all for them. Vivi's character growth throughout the Alabasta arc is seriously so impressive. She starts off as this sheltered princess, but by the end, she's just a total badass, ready to just take on the world and lead her people. Plus, her kindness and compassion shine through in everything she does, making her one of the most lovable characters in the series in my opinion. Their interactions together are just amazing, but I think that scene that shows it the most is the scene where Luffy and Vivi confront each other. People seem to only remember it because Luffy socks Vivi, and I will admit that was pretty funny. But honestly, what Luffy says to Vivi just for me reaffirmed why he's still my favorite character. I just love it so much. Just telling Vivi to stop being so naive and let them help her. She doesn't have to do it all herself, and let them risk their lives for her dream. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. This arc is so good. Now, although I did love this arc so much, there are some things for me that I didn't like about this arc. Well, I guess I shouldn't say some things because it's technically just one, because it all just kind of falls under the same kind of category, and that is this arc kind of drags just a tiny bit. I think there was just a bit too much unnecessary fluff for me, that there were times where I found myself almost skimming through pages, which I don't want to do at all, especially with One Piece. I love this story. I think the biggest example of this was the final battle. For me, this final battle did not hit nearly as hard as the other final battles in the arc, besides the ending, which I'll get to later, simply because it was just too long, in my opinion. That final fight was honestly like over 2 volumes. It was so long, and I'm all for big fights in mangas, but that was a bit much in my opinion, especially the Chopper and Usopp fight. That fight did not have to be as long as it was. The fights just felt a bit dragged to me, to the point where I kind of stopped being interested and started skimming, especially during that Chopper and Usopp fight. Now don't get me wrong, it's not just because I don't like Usopp, which he did, I will say, have a moment that I really liked, and it was when he said he would fight for Luffy's dreams no matter what, when the person that they were fighting was saying that Luffy will never be the Pirate King. That was the best moment of that fight, and for me that was the highlight of that fight, when Usopp said that. By the way, just to let y'all know, that does not change my feelings about Usopp. I still don't like him. I still don't want him to be in the crew. I might get hate for it. I still think he's so annoying, okay? That was a great thing for him to say, but that did not change my feelings of him, okay? One moment does not change my feelings about a whole character. But that moment was probably the highlight of that fight. But the rest of the fight was very eh. The only fights where I was invested the whole way through was Luffy and Zoro's fight. For me, those fights were properly linked and as well as very interesting the whole way through. But the other fights for me was kind of just it was very skippable for me. But to me, it was all made up with that ending. The ending to Alabasta was just amazing. I don't know what else to say about it. It was just so emotional, so powerful, that it was the best ending to the arc. I couldn't think of a better way to end it. My favorite moments were this panel right here, where the man who has been digging for years just says when it starts raining, 3 years is all it took. That scene was very, very good, and it really shows One Piece's thing of these little characters really make the story complete. And my other favorite panel of the ending was where Vivi really wants to go with the Straw Hats, but she can't because she has to take her kingdom in priority. The kingdom that she fought tooth and nail to save, she has to lead now because that is what's most important to her. So although she really wants to join the Straw Hats, she unfortunately can't, and she says with tears in her eyes if she can still be a part of their crew, if they come back, would they still consider her a member of the Straw Hats? And the gang not being able to say anything to her because they don't want her to be associated with pirates and have trouble coming her way, just raises their arms up, showing her the X, basically confirming to her that yes, you will always be a part of our crew. And that is just such an amazing moment, and it's just so good, and I love it so much. This arc was honestly amazing, and there's so much more I want to say, but we'd be here forever if I kept talking. For now, I decided to do a fun little thing in the end where I rate all the arcs from my favorite to least favorite. So far, here's the list. I have the rating I gave each arc right next to the arcs themselves. Now, just to let you know, as you can probably see, that an arc can still have the same rating, but I can still like the arc more, you know? So there is a difference between 5 and 6 out of 10. I will do like 5.5 sometimes if I think there's really that big of a difference, but yeah. So where does Alabasta rank within these arcs? Well, for me, Alabasta is my third favorite arc in One Piece with an 8 out of 10 rating. I love this arc so much, but for me personally, I liked the Arlong Park and Barati arc more. But hey, that's just my opinion. Let me know what you all think in the comment section below, as I would love to hear what you all think, and I can't wait to see you guys back when I finish Skypiea. But until then, I make other videos, so if you're willing to give those a chance, I would very much appreciate it. My most recent video being an Untold Stories. I put a good amount of work into those videos, so if you can give it a chance, I would really appreciate it. But with all that being said, thank you for watching, and as always, have a great day.